There was little fanfare in the fall of 1948 as tiny Maryland State College began its football season. Few beyond the farming town of Princess Anne knew of Maryland State, now the University of Maryland, Eastern Shore. But that year marked the beginning of an extraordinary run of success, as the program produced 5 undefeated seasons, many professional players, and innumerable milestones, including becoming the first historically black school to play a white school. As a segregated institution on the remote Eastern Shore, Maryland State College faced challenges from its outset. But the Hawks were never short of pride, nor on-field success.
My first impression of this school was, where is it?
And Coach picked me up, and by the time we got here, it was dark at night, and then said, where's the campus,
Nobody knew of Princess Anne or Maryland State. If this school was to grow, it would eventually have to become nationally known.
The profile of Maryland State took an enormous leap forward with the hiring of Vernon Skip McCain as head football coach in 1948.
Maryland State became a powerhouse for football academics. It was a renowned institution.
The big school, the white schools, they had a bunch of coaches. We had 3 coaches, coached everything. Skip McCain had a legacy here. He did a wonderful job of setting the tone of what this university was about.
As a coach, his record actually speaks for itself.
He had a team here that was undefeated and I think unscored upon. He ran the ball down your throat. He used to tell us that he could teach anything. They don't make him like him no more.
We became a heck of a team. We beat up on a lot of people, and we were afraid of none of them. 4 years, I know, they'd only lost 1 game.
And at that time, we were playing a lot of white schools, schools like Hofstra and Connecticut, and we were winning. Same thing with basketball. We didn't lose.
They were undefeated. Football, baseball, and basketball. And when I came in and went to the national championship.
Maryland State had a history, tradition, and pride.
We never perceived ourselves as underdogs. That wasn't in us. Tradition had already been set.
We weren't intimidated by anybody. When we got off the bus, people knew you had better get ready, because we were gonna put it on you.
We would win games at all costs. No one had 2 platoons. You had an opportunity to really play against the same person. We would whip up on that person quite a bit.
We had guys who came here on occasions and saw the talent and really did not believe that they could get on the football field with us and left.
There was never a day when we practiced football that there weren't scouts on our campus watching practice.
I am proud of the fact of professional players that play for me here at Maryland State. Art Shell, Emerson Boozer, Billy Thompson, Bill Bell.
Johnny Sample and a guy by the name of Sherman Plunkett had gone to the NFL. Roger Brown, the Detroit Lions.
I played with a guy named Billy Thompson, who played for Denver for 13 years. My roommate was Gerald Lyons. He played with Oakland for 10 years. We just had a lot of good athletes, and all of us got along, and a lot of them went on to the pros and did well.
And not only football, we had several guys who played basketball here that went into the pros. We've sent guys to the Olympics.
If you were good enough, you played every sport. We had some guys play football, basketball, and baseball. And then we had some participate in track. You did everything you could to help the university.
Every football game was an event at Maryland State, but none was bigger than the annual rivalry game with Morgan State.
Morgan State was our big rivalry. It was an exciting time for us as athletes to play in a big game like that.
I really can't compare rivalry when I was on the Bears that we had with the Green Bay Packers. When we sang the night before the football game out on campus, the dormitories emptied, and all the students sang with us.
All the freshmen, all the sophomores, all the juniors, all the seniors, all alumni chant going to the game. Little children come along while the moon is shining bright.
Fight songs all day long. The feeling was in the air. Go all the way across campus on a jog to get to the football field. When you were there, they were from all around.
It was just packed, thousands and thousands of people. There were whites in the stands from the community. There were business people from the community.
While the football games were a place where whites in the community would mix freely with the black student body, the laws of segregation were still part of life at Maryland State, and the student athletes were at the forefront of those advocating for change.
For young students, as you can imagine, in the 1960s, Maryland State then is a segregated institution of higher learning, and all around those students in the mid to late 60s are experiencing, a change around them.
Black athletes didn't have the opportunities to go to white schools like they do today.
We had our times when things didn't go well, and we had to get out in the streets and demonstrate just like anybody else.
Johnny Wilson, who was native to Princess Anne, he came to me and to another student by the name of Warren Morgan and asked us to join him and get the students organized so that we could fight against the racism that was in Princess Anne at that time. Everything that we did was peaceful. We just marched and we sang on our way into Princess Anne. I get a little emotional about this. Don't tell me a fire hose doesn't hurt, because it does. And we met with the dogs, and we met with those state patrolmen and the sheriff people. So you see what we went through. But again, the end result was that for the whole state of Maryland, the Jim Crow laws were broken, and we did it right here on this campus.
A legacy of on-field success and off-the-field leadership by the football team wasn't enough, however, to prevent the disbanding of the UMES football program in 1979, the victim of rising cost and the changing landscape of college athletics. But that sense of pride and spirit remains, and a group of alumni have formed a group called Hawks for Football to continue to work to return football to the Princess Anne campus. An early sign of success, the return of club football to UMES in 2012, allowing the sounds of football to echo once again across the campus.
Maryland State College and the athletic program lays a strong legacy for the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Football is a sport that increased the involvement and engagement of the community and the students. There is a very strong school spirit here.
I know what the program did for me. Everything good in my life stimulated from football here.
For me and a whole lot of other people, that was a very sad day when football was dropped here. The wheels of this university rolled with football.
Hawk pride, Hawk spirit. There was a spirit here on campus that is very difficult to explain. We just all felt it. It just ran through us. And all the things I've done in my life, nothing has compared to being a student on this campus. Nothing.
You have to be a Hawk to understand once you get that spirit of core in you and you're a Hawk for life.
For me to be a Hawk, I am so proud to have attended this institution. I saw black people in positions of prominence. I will tell anybody that the 4 years that I spent here, 4 of the greatest years of my life.